Shalom, family. Sorry about that. I know I messed up earlier. It was on mute for like 10 minutes. I'm going to be going into the posting this into the small group, and hopefully people will see it there. Yeah, sorry about that. As I said in the last live, that I will be reading this book, The Science and Fine Art of Fasting, for those people that are afraid to fast because they think their health, that they think that they're not able to fast. So basically, shalom, sis. Yeah. I'm going to be reading that. It would be during the daytime, but just so that people will have it for the people that would like to fast for the spirituality, but they think that they are not able to for health reasons. So I'm hoping that will actually help people, who would like to fast but think they can't, so they can realize that in actuality it's really healthy for you. And again, family, I'm very sorry about that last. Yeah, it's been a long day. Sorry, family. I got to be more cognizant of that, so I don't do that again. Especially 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. You guys were there. I love you, family. I do. You guys are, man, I love you guys. But I'm going to start we're in Jeremiah chapter 46, and you can hear, we've heard all through Jeremiah, Yahuwah's heart and how much he loves us, and he's begging us, and like, he's giving us all this grace, and then he's just like having to put the foot down like any good father, And okay, so here's Jeremiah chapter 46. And again, I'm sorry, and I thank you guys for your patience and grace. Chapter 46. The word of Yahuwah, which came to Jeremiah the prophet against the Gentiles, against Egypt, against the army of Pharaoh Necho, the king of Egypt, which was by the river Euphrates in Carchemish, which Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, smote in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. Order ye the buckler and shield, and draw near to battle. Harness the horses, and get up, ye horsemen, and stand forth with your helmets. Furbish the spears, and put on the brigandines. Wherefore have I seen them dismayed and turned away back? And their mighty ones are beaten down, and are fled apace. And look not back, for fear was round about, saith Yahuwah. Let not the swift flee away, nor the mighty man escape. They shall stumble and fall toward the north by the river Euphrates. Who is this that cometh up as a flood, whose waters are moved as the rivers? Egypt riseth up like a flood, and his waters are moved like the rivers. And he saith, I will go up, and will cover the earth. I will destroy the city, and the inhabitants thereof. Come up, ye horses, and rage, ye chariots, and let the mighty men come forth, the Ethiopians and the Libyans, and that handle the shield, and the Lydians that handle and bend the bow. For this is the day of Yahuwah, Halleluah of hosts, a day of vengeance, that he may avenge him of his adversaries, and the sword shall devour, and it shall be satiate and made drunk with their blood. And Yahuwah, Halleluah of hosts, hath a sacrifice in the north country by the river Euphrates. Go up into Gilead, and take balm, O virgin, the daughter of Egypt. In vain shalt thou use many medicines, for thou shalt not be cured. The nations have heard of thy shame, and the cry hath filled the land, for the mighty man's hath stumbled against the mighty, and they have fallen both together. The word that Yahuwah spake to Jeremiah the prophet, how Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, should come and smite the land of Egypt. Declare ye in Egypt, and publish in Migdol, and publish in Noph, and in Tahpanhes. Say ye, stand fast and prepare thee, for the sword shall devour round about thee. Why are thy valiant men swept away? They stood not, because Yahuwah did drive them. He made many to fall, yea, one fell upon another. And they said, Arise, and let us go gain to our own people, and to the land of our nativity from the oppressing sword. They did cry there, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, is but a noise. He hath passed the time appointed. As I live, saith the king, whose name is Yahuwah of hosts, surely as Tabor is among the mountains, and as Carmel by the sea, so shall he come. O thou daughter dwelling in Egypt, furnish thyself to go into captivity, for Noph shall be waste and desolate without an inhabitant. Egypt is like a very fair heifer, but destruction cometh out of the north. Also, her hired men are in the midst of her like fatted bullocks, for they also are turned back and are fled away together. They did not stand. They did not stand because the day of their calamity was come upon them, and the time of their visitation. The voice thereof shall go like a serpent, for they shall march with an army, and come against her with axes as hewers of wood. They shall cut down her forest, saith Yahuwah, though it cannot be searched, because they are more than the grasshoppers, and are innumerable. The daughter of Egypt shall be confounded. She shall be delivered into the hand of the people of the north. Yahuwah of hosts, the Halleluah of Yesharel, saith, Behold, I will punish the multitude of No and Pharaoh in Egypt with their gods and their kings, even Pharaoh and all them that trust in him. And I will deliver them into the hand of those that seek their lives, and into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of his servants. And afterward it shall be inhabited as the days of old, saith Yahuwah. But fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Yesharel. For behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return, and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. Fear thou not, O Jacob, my servant, saith Yahuwah, for I am with thee, for I will make a full end of all the nations whither I have driven thee, but I will not make a full end of thee, but correct thee in the measure, yet will I not leave thee wholly unpunished. Chapter 47. The word of Yahuwah that came to Jeremiah the prophet against the Philistines, before that Pharaoh smote Gaza. Thus saith Yahuwah, Behold, waters rise up out of the north, and shall be an overflowing flood, and shall overflow the land, and all that is therein, the city, and them that dwell therein. Then the men shall cry, and all the inhabitants of the land shall howl, at the noise of the stamping of the hoofs of his strong horses, at the rushing of his chariots, and at the rumbling of his wheels. The fathers shall not look back to their children for feebleness of hands, because of the day that cometh to spoil. all the Philistines, and to cut off from Tyrus and Zidon every helper that remaineth. For Yahuwah will spoil the Philistines, the remnant of the country of Caphtor. Baldness is come upon Gaza. Ashkelon is cut off from the remnant of their valley. How long will thou cut thyself, O thou sword of Yahuwah? How long will I be there? How long will it be ere thou be quiet? Put up thyself into thy scabbard, rest, and be still. How can it be quiet, seeing Yahuwah hath given it a charge against Ashkelon and against the seashore? There hath he appointed it. Chapter 48. Against Moab, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the HalleluYah of Yasharel, woe unto Nebo, for it is spoiled. Kerethaim is confounded and taken. Misgab is confounded and dismayed. There shall be no more praise of Moab. In Heshbon they have devised evil against it. Come, and let us cut it off from being a nation. Also thou shalt be cut down. O madman, the sword shall pursue thee. A voice of crying shall be from Horonaim, spoiling and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. For in the going up of Luith, continual weeping shall go up. For in the going down of Horonaim, the enemy shall heard a cry of destruction. Flee, save your lives, and be like the heath in the wilderness. For because thou hast trusted in the works and in thy treasures, thou shalt also be taken. And Chemosh shall go forth into captivity with his priests and his princes together. And the spoiler shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape. The valley also shall perish. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as Yahuwah hath spoken. Give wings unto Moab, that it may flee and get away. For the cities thereof shall be desolate, without any to dwell therein. Cursed be he that doeth the works of Yahuwah deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. Moab hath been at ease from his youth, and he hath settled on his lees, and hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel, neither hath he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remained in him, and his scent is not changed. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will send unto him wanderers, that shall cause him to wander, and shall empty his vessel, and break their bottles. And Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Yasharel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How say ye, we are mighty and strong men for the war? Moab is spoiled, and gone up out of her cities, and his chosen young men are gone down to the slaughter, saith the King, whose name is Yahuwah of hosts. The calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasteth fast. All ye that are about him bemoan him, and all ye that know his name say, how is the strong staff broken, and the beautiful rod? Thou daughter that dost inhabit Dibon, come down from thy glory, and sit in the thirst, for the spoiler of Moab shall come. Upon thee, and he shall destroy thy strongholds. O inhabitant of Aroer, stand by the way, and ask him that fleeth, and her that escapeth, and say, what is done? Moab is confounded, for it is broken down. Howl and cry. Tell ye it at Arnon that Moab is spoiled. And judgment is come upon the plain country, upon Holon, and upon Jahazah, and upon Mephthath, and upon Dibon, and upon Nebo, and upon Beth Diblathaim, and upon Kiriathaim, and upon Beth Gamul, and upon Beth Meon, and upon Kerioth, and upon Bozrah, and upon all the cities of the land of Moab, far or near. The horn of Moab is cut off, and his arm is broken, saith Yahuwah. Make ye him drunken, for he magnified himself against Yahuwah. Moab also shall wallow in his vomit, and he also shall be in derision. For was not Yesharel a derision unto thee? Was he found among thieves? For since thou spakest of him, thou skippest for joy. O ye that dwell in Moab, leave the cities, and dwell in the rock, and be like the dove that maketh her nest in the sides of the hole's mouth. We have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceeding proud, his loftiness and his arrogancy, and his pride, and the haughtiness of his heart. I know his wrath, saith Yahuwah, but it shall not be so. His lies shall not so affect it. Therefore will I howl for Moab, and I will cry out for all Moab. Mine heart shall mourn for the men of Kirhiris. O vine of Sibmah, I will weep for thee with the weeping of Jazer. Thy plants are gone over the sea. They reach even to the sea of Jazer. The spoiler is fallen upon thy summer fruits and upon thy vintage. And joy and gladness, sorry family. And joy and gladness is taken from the plentiful field, and I have caused wine to fail from the wine presses. None shall tread with shouting. Their shouting shall be no shouting. From the city of Hesbon, even unto Eliah, and even unto Jahaz, have they uttered their voice from Zoar, even unto Horonaim, as an heifer of 3 years old. For the waters also of Nimrim shall be desolate. Moreover, I will cause to cease in Moab, saith Yahuwah, him that offereth in the high places, and him that burneth incense to his gods. Therefore mine heart shall sound for Moab like pipes, and mine heart shall sound like pipes for the men of Kirhiris, because the riches that he hath gotten are perished. For every head shall be bald, and every beard clipped. Upon all the hand shall be cuttings, and upon the loin sack there shall be lamentation, generally upon all the housetops of Moab, and in the streets thereof. For I have broken Moab like a vessel, wherein is no pleasure, saith Yahuwah. They shall howl, saying, how is it broken down? How hath Moab turned the back with shame? So shall Moab be a derision and dismaying to all them about him. For thus saith Yahuwah, behold, he shall fly as an eagle, and shall spread his wings over Moab. Kerioth is taken, and the strongholds are surprised, and the mighty men's hearts in Moab at that day shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. And Moab shall be destroyed from being a people, because he hath magnified himself against Yahuwah. Fear and the pit and the snare shall be upon thee, O inhabitant of Moab, saith Yahuwah. He that fleeth from the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that getteth up out of the pit shall be taken into the snare. For I will bring upon it, even upon Moab, the year of their visitation, saith Yahuwah. They that fled stood under the shadow of Heshbon because of the force, But a fire shall come forth out of Heshbon, and a flame from the midst of Sihon, and shall devour the corner of Moab, and the crown of the head of tumultuous ones. Woe be unto thee, O Moab! The people of Chemosh perisheth, for thy sons are taken captives, and thy daughters captives. Yet will I bring again the captivity of Moab in the latter days, saith Yahuwah. Thus far in the judgment of Moab. Hold on one second, okay, family? Okay, I know I took it off mute. Sorry, family. I love you guys. Sorry. Okay, chapter 49. Concerning the Ammonites, thus saith Yahuwah, hath Yasharel no sons? Hath no heir? Why then doth their king inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will cause an alarm of war to be heard in Rabbah of the Ammonites, and it shall be a desolate heap, and her daughters shall be burned with fire. Then shall Yasharel be heir unto them that were his heirs, saith Yahuwah. How, O Heshbon, for Ai is spoiled. Cry, ye daughters of Rabbah, gird up with sackcloth, lament and run to and fro by the hedges. For their king shall go into captivity, and his priests and his princes together. Wherefore, glorious thou in the valleys, thy flowing valley, O backsliding daughters, that trusted in her treasures, saying, who shall come unto me? Behold, I will bring a fear upon thee, saith Yahuwah, HalleluYah of hosts, from all those that be about thee, and ye shall be driven out every man right forth, and none shall gather up him that wandereth. And afterward I will bring again the captivity of the children of Ammon, saith Yahuwah. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus saith Yahuwah, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall together go unpunished. Thou shalt not go unpunished, and thou shalt not surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith Yahuwah, that Bozar should become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes. I have heard rumors from Yahuwah, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathens, saying, Gather ye together, and come against her, and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen, and despised among men. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahuwah. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahuwah. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her, and who is a chosen man, that I may appoint over her. For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time, and who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahuwah, that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes, that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, and at the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Bozrah. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded, and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. It cannot be quiet. Damascus is waxed feeble, and turneth herself to flee, and fear hath seized on her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her as a woman in travail. How is the city of praise not left, the city of my joy? Therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith Yahuwah of hosts. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall consume the palaces of Ben-Hadad, concerning Kedar, and concerning the kingdom of Hazor, which Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon shall smite. Thus saith Yahuwah, arise ye, go up to Kedar, and spoil the men of the east. Their tents and their flocks shall they take away. They shall take to themselves their curtains, and all their vessels, and their camel, and they shall cry unto them. Fear is on every side. Flee, get you far off, dwell deep, O ye inhabitants of Hazor, saith Yahuwah. For Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, hath taken counsel against you, and hath conceived a purpose against you. Arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, saith Yahuwah, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone. And their camels shall be a booty, and their multitude of their cattle a spoil. And I will scatter into all winds them that are in the utmost corners, and I will bring their calamity from all sides thereof, saith Yahuwah. And Hazor shall be a dwelling for dragons, and a desolation forever. There shall no man abide there, nor any son of man dwell in it. the word of Yahuwah that came to Jeremiah the prophet against Elam in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah king of Judah, saying, Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, Behold, I will break the bow of Elam, and chief of their might, and upon Elam will I bring the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and will scatter them towards all those winds. And there shall be no nation whither the outcasts of Elam shall not come. For I will cause Elam to be dismayed before their enemies, and before them that seek their life. And I will bring evil upon them, even my fierce anger, saith Yahuwah, and I will send the sword after them, till I have consumed them. And I will set my throne in Elam, and I will destroy from thence the kingdom and the princes, saith Yahuwah. But it shall come to pass in the latter days that I will bring again the captivity of Elam, saith Yahuwah. Chapter 50. The word that Yahuwah spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, and publish, and set up a standard, publish, and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days, and in that time, saith Yahuwah, the children of Yasharel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek Yahuwah their Eluah. They shall ask the way of Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, and let us join ourselves to Yahuwah in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains, and they have gone from the mountains to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. I wonder who our shepherds are now. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, We offend not, because thy have sinned against Yahuwah, the inhabitation of justice, even Yahuwah, the hope of their fathers. Remove out the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flock. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain, and Chaldea shall be a spoil. And Chaldea shall be a spoil, and all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahuwah. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer as grass, and bellow as bulls. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yahuwah, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate, every one that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahuwah. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundation are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahuwah. Take the vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one into his own land. Yesharel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First the king of Assyria hath devoured him, and last this Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon hath broken his bones. Therefore thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the HalleluYah of Yesharel, Behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria, and I will bring Yesharel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. In those days and in that time, saith Yahuwah, the iniquity of Yesharel shall be sought for, and there shall be none, and the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found, for I will pardon them whom I reserve. Go up against the land of Merathaim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod, waste and utterly destroyed after them, saith Yahuwah, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware thou art found, and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahuwah. Yahuwah hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of Yahuwah, HalleluYah of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up at heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their days is come, the time of their visitation. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of Yahuwah or HalleluYah. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow. Camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done. Do unto her, for she hath been proud against Yahuwah, against the Holy One of Yesharel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in the days, saith Yahuwah. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith Yahuwah, HalleluYah of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the children of Yesharel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. The Redeemer is strong. Yahuwah of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is upon Chaldeans, saith Yahuwah, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert, with the wild beasts of the islands, shall dwell there, and the owl shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As HalleluYah overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahuwah, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from, Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not shew mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took a hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong, but I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man, that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me at the time? The time, and who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahuwah, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. Chapter 51. Thus saith Yahuwah, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them, to raise up against me a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men. Destroy ye utterly all her host. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Yesharel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his HalleluYah, of Yahuwah of hosts. Yahuwah of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Yesharel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let her go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Yahuwah hath brought forth our righteousness. Come, and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahuwah our HalleluYah. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahuwah hath raised up the spirit of the kings of Medes. For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahuwah, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong, set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes, for Yahuwah hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O that dwelleth upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. Yahuwah of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heaven by his understanding. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasure. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the works of errors. In the time of their visitation they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Yesharel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahuwah of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapon of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. And with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion. In your sight, saith Yahuwah. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith Yahuwah, which destroyest all the earth. And I will stretch out mine hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for a foundation, but thou shalt be a desolate forever. saith Yahuwah. Set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Arata, Menai, and Ashkenaz. Appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captain thereof. And all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion, and the land shall tremble and sorrow. For every purpose of Yahuwah shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to shew the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end, and that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. For thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the HalleluYah of Yasharel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her, yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. He hath made me in an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. The violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitant of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. Therefore thus saith Yahuwah, behold, I will plead thy cause, and take vengeance for thee, and I will drive up her sea, and make her springs dry. And Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment and an hissing, without an inhabitant. They shall roar together like lions. They shall yell as lions whelps. In their heat I will make their feast, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith Yahuwah. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with the goats. How is Sheshach taken, and how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? The sea is come up upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land where no man dwelleth, neither doth any son of man pass thereby. And I will punish Bel in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up. And the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of Yahuwah, and lest your heart faint. And lest your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoilers shall come unto her from the north, saith Yahuwah, as Babylon hath caused one slain of Yesharel to fall. So as Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. Ye that have escaped the sword, go away, stand not still. Remember Yahuwah afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. We are confounded, because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces, for strangers are come into the sanctuaries of Yahuwah's house. Wherefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will do judgment upon her graven images, and through all her land and wounded shall groan. Though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith Yahuwah. A sound of a cry cometh from Babylon, and great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans, because Yahuwah hath spoiled Babylon, and destroyed out of her the great voice, when her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of her voice is uttereth, because the spoiler is come upon her, even upon Babylon, and her mighty men are taken. Every one of their bows is broken. For Yahuwah Eluah of recompense shall surely requite, and I will make a drunk her princes, and her wise men, her captains, and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith the King, whose name is Yahuwah of hosts. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire. And the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. The word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Sarah, the son of Neriah, the son of Maasai, when he went with Zedekiah the king of Judah into Babylon in the 4th year of his reign. And this Sarai was a quiet prince. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, even all these words that were written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Sarai, when thou comest to Babylon, and shalt see, and shalt read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Yahuwah, thou hast spoken against this place, to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it, and cast it into the midst of Euphrates. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Chapter 52. Zedekiah was one and 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah, and he did that which was evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, according to all the Jehoiakim had done. For through the anger of Yahuwah it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, till he had cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, the Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and built forts against it round about. So the city was besieged unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And in the 4th month, in the 9th day of the month, the famine was sore in the city, so that there was no bread for the people of the land. Then the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled, and went forth out of the city by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, which was by the king's garden. Now the Chaldeans were by the city round about, and they went by the way of the plain. But the army of the Chaldeans pursued after the king, and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. Then they took the king, and carried him up upon the king of Babylon to Riblah in the land of Hamath, where he gave judgment upon him. And the king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes. He slew also all the princes of Judah in Riblah. Then he put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and the king of Babylon bound him in chains, and carried him to Babylon, and put him in prison to the day of his death. Now in the 5th month, in the 10th day of the month, which was the 19th year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, which served the king of Babylon, into Jerusalem. And burned the house of Yahuwah, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, and all the houses of the great men, burned he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldeans that were with the captain of the guard brake down all the walls of Jerusalem around about. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive certain of the poor of the people, and the residue of the people that remained in the city, and those that fell away, that fell to the king of Babylon, and the rest of the multitude. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left certain of the poor of the land for vine dressers and the husbandmen. Also the pillars of brass that were in the house of Yahuwah, and the basses, and the brazen sea that was in the house of Yahuwah, the Chaldeans brake, and carried all the brass of them to Babylon. The cauldrons also, and the shovel, and the snuffers, and the bowls, and the spoons, and the vessels of brass, wherewith they ministered, took they away. And the basons, and the fire pans, and the bowls, and the cauldrons, and the candlesticks, and the spoons, and the cups, that which was gold in gold, and that which was silver in silver, took the captain of the guard away. The 2 pillars, 1 sea, and the 12 brazen bulls that were under the bases, which King Solomon had made in the house of Yahuwah, the brass of all these vessels was without weight. And concerning the pillars, the height of one pillar was 18 cubits, and a fillet of 12 cubits did compass it. And the thickness thereof was 4 fingers, it was hollow. And a chapiter of brass was upon it, and the height of one chapiter was 5 cubits, with network and with pomegranates upon the chapiters round about, all of brass. The second pillar also, and the pomegranates were upon unto these. And there were 96 pomegranates on a side, and all the pomegranates upon the network were 100 round about. And the captain of the guard took Sarai, the chief priest, and Zephaniah, the second priest, and the 3 keepers of the door. He took also out of the city an eunuch, which had the charge of the men of war, and 7 men of them that were near the king's person, which were found in the city, and the principal scribe of the host, who mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land that were found in the midst of the city. So Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, took them and brought them to the king of Babylon, to Riblah. And the king of Babylon smote them and put them to death in Riblah in the land of Hamath. Thus Judah was carried away captive out of his own land. This is the people whom Nebuchadnezzar carried away captive in the 7th year, 3,000 Jews and 23. In the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar, he carried away captive from Jerusalem 832 persons. In the 23 year of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the Jews 745 persons. All the persons were found 4,600. And it came to pass in the 7th and 30th year of the captivity of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, in the 12th month, in the 25th day of the month, the evil Merodach, king of Babylon, in the 1st year of his reign, lifted up the head of Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, and brought him forth out of prison, and spake kindly unto him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garments, and he did continuously eat bread before him all the days of his life. And for his diet, there was a continual diet given him of the king of Babylon, every day a portion unto the day of his death, and all the days of his life. And that's the book of Jeremiah. Hold on one second. That's Jeremiah. If you give me a minute, I'm going to also read Lamentations. Lamentations is a really important book. And I'm going to read that. And just give me a minute just to get some water and just take a minute to go to the bathroom or whatever. I'll just be not even a minute, family. Thank you. I know for me personally, after the burglary, like, was it like 3 months ago? Yeah, about 3 months ago, Lamentations really, 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 really helped me get through. So I hope it has the same effect on you guys. I love you guys. Here's Lamentations. The Lamentations of Jeremiah, chapter 1. How doth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations and princes among the provinces, how is she become tributary? She weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she hath none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction and because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. The ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate, her priests sigh, her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Her adversaries are the chiefs. Her adversaries are the chief. Her enemies prosper. For Yahuwah hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. And from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer. Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. The adversary saw her and did mock at her Sabbaths. Jerusalem hath grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. All that honored her despised her, because they have seen her nakedness. Yea, she sigheth and turneth backward. Her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembereth not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Yahuwah, behold my affliction, for the enemy hath magnified himself. The adversary hath spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she hath seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. All her people sigh, they seek bread, they have given their pleasant things for meat to relieve the soul. See, O Yahuwah, and consider, for I am become vile. Is it nothing to you, all ye that pass by? Behold and see if there be any sorrow like unto my sorrow, which is done unto me, wherewith Yahuwah hath afflicted me in the day of his fierce anger. From above hath he sent fire into my bones, and it prevaileth against them. He hath spread a net for my feet. He hath turned me back. He hath made me desolate and faint all the day. The yoke of my transgressions is bound by his heart. They are wreathed and come up upon my neck. He hath made my strength to fall. Yahuwah hath delivered me into their hands, from whom I am not able to rise up. Yahuwah hath trodden under foot all my mighty men in the midst of me. He hath called an assembly against me to crush my young men. Yahuwah hath trodden the virgin, the daughter of Judah, as in a winepress. For these things I weep. My eye runneth down with water, because the comforter that should relieve my soul is far from me. My children are desolate, because the enemy prevaileth. Zion spreadeth forth her hands, and there is none to comfort her. Yahuwah hath commanded concerning Jacob, that his adversaries should be round about him. Jerusalem is a menstruous woman among them. Yahuwah is righteous, for I have rebelled against his commandment. Hear, I pray you, all people, and behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men are gone into captivity. I called for my lovers, but they deceived me. My priests and mine elders gave up the ghost in the city, while they sought their meat to relieve their souls. Behold, O Yahuwah, for I am in distress. My bowels are troubled. Mine heart is turned within me, For I have grievously rebelled. Abroad the sword bereaveth. At home there is as death. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me, for all my transgressions. For my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. Chapter 2. How hath Yahuwah covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Yesharel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. Yahuwah hath swallowed up all the inhabitants of Jacob, and hath not pitied. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He hath brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. He hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Yesharel. He hath drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoureth round about. He hath bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary, and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughters of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. Yahuwah was an enemy. He has swallowed up Yesharel. He hath swallowed up all her palaces. He hath destroyed his strongholds, and hath increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. And he hath violently taken away his tabernacle, as if it were of a garden. He hath destroyed his places of the assembly. Yahuwah hath caused the solemn feast and Sabbaths to be forgotten in Zion, and hath despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priest. Hold on 1 second, family. Sorry. I did it again. Sorry, family. Donna. Okay, where was I at, family? Oh, Donna. Okay. Does anybody remember where I was at? Oh, Donna, why do I do this? Ah. Anybody remember? Where's Nene? Brenda, you're funny. Anybody remember? Thank you, Donna. Top of the page. Yeah, but I don't get messages. I'm just reading. I don't, you know. Yeah, sorry. The best thing is if I see those red flags, I know there's something. Start other top. Okay. Chapter 3. Here. Edward. Edward. What page? Brother, help me, please. You know what? I'm just going to start. I'm going to go on chapter 3. That's it. Sorry. Hopefully but you know what? This wasn't even supposed to be part of it, so this is just extra. Sorry, family. Chapter 3. I am the man that hath seen affliction by the rod of his wrath. He hath led me and brought me into darkness, but now into light. Surely against me is he turned. He turneth his hand against me all the day. My flesh and my skin hath he made old. He hath broken my bones. He hath builded against me, and compassed me with gall and travails. He hath set me in a dark place, as they that be dead of old. He hath hedged me about, that I cannot get out. He hath made my chain heavy. Also when I cry and shout, he shutteth out my prayer. He hath enclosed my ways with hewn stone. He hath made my path crooked. He was unto me as a bear lying in wait, and as a lion in secret places. He hath turned aside my ways and pulled me in pieces. He hath made me desolate. He hath bent his bow and set me as mark for the arrow. He hath caused the arrows of his quiver to enter into my reins. I was a derision to all my people, and their songs all the day. He hath filled me with bitterness. He hath made me drunken with wormwood. He hath also broken my teeth with gravel stones. He hath covered me with ashes, and thou hast removed my soul far from peace. I forgot prosperity, and I said, my strength and my hope is perished from Yahuwah. Remember mine affliction, and the misery, the wormwood, and gall. My soul hath them still in remembrance, and is humbled in me. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. It is Yahuwah's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassion fail not. They are new every morning. Great in thy faithfulness. Yahuwah is my portion, saith my soul. Therefore will I hope in him. Yahuwah is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of Yahuwah. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him. He putteth his mouth in the dust. If so be there may be hope. He giveth his cheek to him that smitteth him. He is filled full with reproach. For Yahuwah will not cast off forever. But though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercies. For he doth not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men. To crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn about the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause. Yahuwah approveth not. Who is he that saith, and it cometh to pass, when Yahuwah commandeth it not? Out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good. Wherefore doth a living man complain, a man for the punishment of his sins? Let us search and try our ways, and turn again to Yahuwah. Let us lift up our hearts with our hands unto HalleluYah, to the heavens. We have transgressed and have rebelled. Thou hast not pardoned. Thou hast covered with anger and persecuted us. Thou hast slain. Thou hast not pitied. Thou hast covered thyself with a cloud, and our prayer should not pass through. Thou hast made us as the offscouring and refuse in the midst of the people. All our enemies have opened their mouths against us. Fear and a snare is come upon us, and desolation and destruction. Mine eye runneth down with rivers of water for the destruction of the daughter of my people. Mine eye trickleth down and ceaseth not without any intermission, till Yahuwah look down and behold from heaven. Mine eye affecteth mine heart because of all the daughters of my city. Mine enemies chased me sore like a bird without cause. They have cut off my life in the dungeon, and cast a stone upon me. Waters flowed over mine head. Then I said, I am cut off. I called upon thy name, O Yahuwah, out of the low dungeon. Thou hast heard my voice. Heard my voice. Hide not thine ear at my breathing, at my cry. Thou drewest near in the day that I called upon thee. Thou sayest, fear not, O Yahuwah. Thou hast pleaded the cause of my soul. Thou hast redeemed my life. O Yahuwah, thou hast seen my wrong. Judge thou my cause. Thou hast seen all their vengeance and all their imaginations against me. Thou hast heard their reproach, O Yahuwah, and all their imaginations against me. The lips of those that rose up against me, and their devices against me all the day. Behold, they're sitting down, and they're rising up. I am their music. Render unto them a recompense, O Yahuwah, according to the work of their hands. Give them sorrow of heart, thy curse unto them. Persecute and destroy them in anger from under the heavens of Yahuwah. Chapter 4. How is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold chained? The stone of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed? As earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter. Even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness. The tongue of the sucking child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth, for thirst. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. They that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. They that were brought up in the scarlet embrace dunghills. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughters of my people, iniquity for the daughters of my people is greater than the punishments of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in the moment, and no hand stayed on her. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is witnessed, it is become like a stick. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken for these pine away, stricken through, for want of the fruit of the field. The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Yahuwah hath accomplished his fury. He hath poured out his fierce anger, and hath kindled a fire in Zion, and it hath devoured the foundation thereof. The king of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would not have believed that the adversary and the enemy should have entered into the gates of Jerusalem. For the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. They have wandered as blind men in the streets. They have polluted themselves with blood, so that men could not touch their garments. They cried unto them, Depart ye, it is unclean. Depart, depart, touch not. When they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, They shall no more sojourn there. The anger of Yahuwah hath divided them. He will no more regard them. They respected not the persons of the priests, that favored not the elders. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of Yahuwah, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, Under his shadow we shall live among the heathen. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, and dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Chapter 5. Remember, O Yahuwah, what is come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold for unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that doth deliver us out of their hands. We get our bread with the peril of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They ravished the woman in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. Princes are hanged up by their hand. The faces of elder were not honored. They took the young men to grind, and the children fell under the wood. The elders have ceased from the gate, the young men from their music. The joy of our heart is ceased. Our dance is turned into mourning. The crown is fallen from our head. Woe unto us that we have sinned, for this our heart is faint. For these things are our eyes dim, because of the mountain of Zion, which is desolate. The foxes walk upon it. Thou, O Yahuwah, remainest forever, thy throne from generation to generation. Wherefore dost thou forget us forever, and forsake us so long time? Turn thou us unto thee, O Yahuwah, and we shall be turned. Renew our days as of old. But thou hast utterly rejected us. Thou art very wroth against us. 1 second, family. Can you hear me? Sorry. So that's Lamentations. I'm sorry about that. I did do a Lamentations live. I'll put it in the comments in here if anybody's interested. And that was right after the burglary. But I'll tell you what, family. One thing, I've always trusted. Well, we thought the other names we didn't know, but I've always trusted in him. And even with that burglary, the only thing that made me do was, it's all on you, Yahuwah. I can't do it. And I'm telling you, with this family, that's how I've gotten through the last 3 months, was the help that you guys have given me. And it's, I can never say thank you enough. And, you just have to, and I'm at the point now where, even like we have to be like, Daniel in the lion's den. No matter the situation, just keep our focus on the Most High Yahuwah. I don't care if the mountain is falling down next to you. You keep your focus on Yahuwah, and it's just amazing. I I can't even tell you guys how much. Yeah. Well, I love you guys. I'm gonna be going live in a little bit. Maybe just do a couple Psalms or something. But yeah, thank you guys. And I'll be going live tomorrow. It is Ezekiel. And plus I want to do that fasting book earlier in the day, and probably a few other things as well. He keeps putting on my heart. So yeah, he's really making me do this. So I enjoy it because I love the word, and I'm with you guys. And it's, we're family. And I love you all, and I just hope everyone has a Baruch evening, okay? Shalom, family. Love you all.